Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Y'all come on in. Tell me you're here. That always makes me feel better to know you're here. And I'm getting us shared over there to Jingle and Mingle. Um, y'all let me know where you're watching from. Are you watching on YouTube? Are you watching on Facebook? Okay, here we are. All right. Bear with me just a moment and let's get this shared. And we're going to get started. I have lots to go over with you today. I'm super excited about what we have coming up. All right. So let's see. All right. So I am Pam Coxwell. Welcome to my studio. I have Pam Coxwell Designs where I teach women to use their creativity to help them share their faith, to help them build their faith, to help them create beautiful home decor and gifts, and to find stress relief. I don't know if you know, but it's good stress relief. It's good stress relief. Well, Sandy said I look summery. Guess what? It is over 80 degrees outside. It is so hot. What in the world? Ah, I'm so glad to see you here. Hey, Karen, glad to see you. Yep, it feels like we skipped from winter straight into summer, but that's kind of typical of the South, isn't it? Hey, Debbie, y'all come on in. So, is anybody watching from the Jingle Mingle group? I think I shared it over there, but let me just double check because we are going to be doing some prep work on our window today. I want to go over that. Okay, I see it over there. I want to go over prepping for it, and I would love for us to take some time to talk about paintbrushes um, and paint. Hello, Patricia. Glad to see you. Hey, Brenda. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. Um, if you if you've been with me long enough, you know that I do have tech problems, and so I like to always. It makes me feel better to know that what I did is working. So, hey, Diane. Glad to see you. All right, perfect, Bobby. All right, so we should be um Esther has winter snow today and tomorrow. Will be spring with summer on Sunday. Yeah. We don't get the snow, but we sure seem to get the ups and downs. I just can't imagine with the snow. I love snow though. I guess it's just typical for this time of the year. The winter's moving out, we've got the spring moving in, and maybe there's a few parts of winter that's like, I'm not quite finished with them yet. So it's just, I always picture things as cartoon characters. So I have a visual of fall and winter and spring, and I could just see them doing a tug of war of, no, I'm not ready to go. That's kind of how it feels, isn't it? Okay, so let me say hey to Johnette is here too, and Marilyn, Diane, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Sherry. Whenever I, this is probably too much information, but when I wash it and am patient to use the diffuser, it will curl and it'll stay that way. If I am not patient, which um, I told my sister the reason I polish my nails is to make myself sit still to let them dry, and I never make it. I've yet to make it where I sat still long enough that they completely dried, but I'm still trying, still trying. Okay, was wondering earlier if we could watch on Facebook. Yes, you should be able to. It should be going toward YouTube and Facebook, and we should be in the Jingle Mingle Facebook group and on the main page and in our Creative Heart Studio. All right, Tanya's getting spring storms today in Little Rock, Arkansas, and usually we get your weather. Hey, Susan and Marla. Okay, so let me just tell you what I want to talk about. Okay, so this is the window project for Jingle and Mingle. I feel like I painted this forever ago, so this is going to be good for me to revisit this and for us to talk about things that you can be doing now so that when Jingle Mingle happens on the 19th and 20th, I will have a 1-hour slot. And y'all know that I have a hard time teaching something within an hour because I want to tell you all the things. So the way I like to do it is have a couple of prep videos so that you could go ahead and be working on it now. And then whenever it's my turn on the 19th, I believe my time slot is at 3 o'clock. I'll just focus on the painting part, okay? So we want to get prepped for that. And I also want to go over the kit with you so that you know what's inside. And okay, Marla got the kit. Hey, Cassie. So, and I also wanted to talk about paper. So let me say 2 things that might be helpful for our creative hearts ladies. This year, our focus is follow him. And so we are taking a different name of Jesus every month, and we're making a symbol with that name of Jesus, with the goal of it being an ornament so that at the end of the year, we have at least 12 ornaments that are symbolic of the different names of Jesus. So, originally, my plan was to teach this month's symbol Tuesday night in our Zoom, but for those who know, my father-in-law had a stroke and things have been kind of up and down, so I went ahead and pre-recorded it, and you should have it today. You should already have it in your Creative Hub, okay? So that's one thing I wanna make sure to tell y'all. Your tutorial this month's, oh, that's stuck. Ooh, this month's name of Jesus is Christ Messiah. And so this is what we're making with clay. It's air dry clay, and this is so much fun. It's air dry clay and put them on these little wood tags. And that lesson is now available for you in your Creative Hub. The other thing I wanted to say, let me grab this real quick. It ended up being kind of a long lesson because I just enjoyed making these so much. So think about, you could make these for gifts for Easter. I really think you're going to like, I know I've already said that, but I really think you're going to like it, and you're going to want to make a lot of these. So this is my favorite one, and it has still not dried all the way so that I could paint it, but that's my favorite one. And this one. And the fun thing about this is I used the rubber stamps like you use in scrapbooking in this air dry clay. So, and let me show you this one because I'm going to make some earrings out of that. Isn't that so cute? So that's available now in your hub. The other thing that I have not had a chance to tell you about because I wasn't sure I would get it done is our color of the month is sage green. So we made some beautiful papers in the mixed media painting part of Creative Heart Studio. And I've put together, I had ordered the stuff. I just didn't have time to put it together, but I actually have a color bundle. That's what we're calling it, color bundle. And it's ribbons. I think there's 4 different ribbons that are in a variety of sage green. There's bling, and this month's bling is a lot of stones and buttons. There's also some floss in there and some paper. And Adrienne has that ready now on the website for purchase. But we haven't even had a chance to tell anybody it's there. So you're the first to know. My goal at the beginning of January was to have one every month, but one of these little bundles, but this is the first month we've been able to do it. So that's also available, and that's what I used with my clay project. So you know that everything coordinates and matches. So that's my 2 things, big announcements that I wanted to make sure to say to y'all before I get started digging into watercolor. Okay. Hey, Karen, Look at all these other names. Laura Lee's here. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. This is a very, very old blouse, and I just keep hanging on to it because it's so comfortable. Hey, April and Cheryl. Okay, you found it on YouTube. Perfect. Okay, so now that I told you those two important things, let's talk about this project for Jingle and Mingle. So this is on a wood board. I think it's an eighth of an inch and it's a house shape. But when I saw it, I thought that looks like a stained glass window. So that's what I wanted to paint with y'all. And I really think you're going to like this project, even if you've never used watercolor before. So that's what I want you to hear. I think you're going to like it, even if you've never used watercolor, because this is going to be so much like coloring, but we're doing it with paint. So it's painted, though, onto watercolor paper using watercolor paint, and then we mount it onto this wood board to help it be sturdy, and so you can display it like I think it's pretty on a mantle or on a foyer entryway. You could make a really pretty Easter display with this. It would be good with the crosses that we're making, the clay crosses. Lots you can do with this. So first of all, I wanted you to know that it's actually watercolor. Now, if you wanted to paint yours with acrylic paint, you could absolutely do that very easily. You could absolutely do that. Hey, Tammy. So let's talk about paper, okay? So what we did for this particular kit is we went ahead and in the kit, I'm going in the wrong order, but that's okay. I had my paintbrushes on top. So this is what the kit looks like. And so we've included the wood and we've included, let me show you what we've included. Okay, so you get all these wood pieces. So this is the main shape. This is the circle that is in the center. The inspiration for this window is a window that we had at the church that I went to for so long. It had a center circle, and that center circle had some sort of drawing or something like that, some sort of artwork. But I decided I wanted to put a hymn page in that circle. But you can do however you want to do yours. But that's this piece. This piece and this piece is so that if you want this to stand, like you could hang this, you could put a hanger on the back, but if you want it to stand, that's this piece. And then the little wood blocks you'll mount to the back and it helps it stand up. So we tried to make this versatile for people who want it to stand or who want it to hang. All right, so the other important thing that we put in here, because I felt like there would be some people that are there's a ladybug. Do y'all have ladybugs? They're all over the place here, like all over the place here. And it's down in that, I guess, because it was on my desk, probably. This is cold press watercolor paper, and I'm about to explain that, but there's no design on it because I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself. And I decided to do it that way because some people may want to paint this without it being the same size of my window. And I just wanted you to see how easy it is to create this stained glass window also. So we've included the cold press watercolor paper. It is, I think, yes, 11 by 15 piece. Also, what we included is the paint dots. So for those who are new, paint dots, we started these, I don't know when, sometime back, because I wanted our ladies to experience using artist grade, professional grade watercolor. And it can be pricey. So I know that Daniel Smith is probably my favorite brand of watercolor paint. And a little tube could run from $11 to $15. Now, they last a long time, But if you're trying it out, that's that's a lot. Might feel like a lot. So that's what these are. It looks like dried up paint because it is dried up paint. And it's so fun to watch how we're going to activate that. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. Oh, and then on the back side, there's a hem page. We have a good assortment of old hems here that I've rescued from those that have been discarded, and we use them in our artwork. Now, if you feel funny about using your hem page in your artwork, make a copy of it and put it on your wood piece. But that's what's in there. Okay, then you're going to have a reference image just to help give you an idea of how I did mine. And then a list of what's inside your kit. All right, then the last thing is our famous, not really famous, but this is a big bag of bling. So bling is what I call beads that I really love to mix up bling. And so I collect beads, buttons, all kinds of things, and have this huge collection down there. And then I make mixtures of them, trying my best to coordinate with the paint. And so that's what you'll see. And in the painting, what we do is we'll add it to the top, and it just gives us this beautiful effect. I think this one would be pretty with a little bit of a light or a lamp shining on it. I think that would be pretty too. It would really make the bling sparkle. Elisa's got the ladybugs too. Oh, and mosquitoes. Okay. We saw a mosquito last night. Good to know. Hello, Larly. All right. So that is what is in your kit. So the first thing that I would like to talk about and go over as prep for this project is about the watercolor paper, because if you did not get the kit, I want you to understand about the different types of paper. All right, so let me put this to the side. I'm trying to keep up with my stuff instead of being scattered like I usually am. Okay, so one important tip for the watercolor paper is when you are painting, it really does help to have it taped down to a hard surface. Don't get distracted. All right, get over here because you're distracting me, little bug. It helps to have it taped down. So I like to tape it down with like washi tape or masking tape, even painter's tape would be good. And you only need it on just the edge of it so that it doesn't curl as bad. So I saved this one so you could see some of the tape has come loose, but this is our painting that we did this month in Creative Hearts. I wanted you to see how I taped it. And all I did is I taped it on the back of this pad of paper. It could be a piece of cardboard, just something firm. That's all you need. Good, Dawn. Good. She got excited when she saw the bling bag. Now imagine my excitement when I'm mixing the bling. It's so much fun. See how little bit, that's all I have. It's just enough to hold it down. And so with yours, you'll have this big piece. You could just find a piece of cardboard or something that's hard and just tape it down whenever we get ready to paint. All right. The second thing I wanted to make sure to say about this, I'm trying to make sure I say all the important things first in case we run out of time. There's no wrong or right way to do this. It's personal preference. So you have two options with this. You could go ahead and trace your paper and mount it onto your board. You could do that. Or you could paint it first seal it, and then mount it onto the board. Personally, I think that it's less stressful, like fear of messing up, if you paint it first. And let me show you the sealer that I recommend. So you'll paint it first, you'll get it all painted, you're going to let it dry, and then you will mist over it with a finishing spray. So this is Krylon. It's a great brand, and they have so many options. We're looking for a matte finish. It could be matte sealer. It could be fixative, but it's going to help that watercolor set, because the beauty of watercolor paint is that the paint moves and is activated with water. But it does not know the difference between water and wet paint or wet tea or anything else. It just knows it's wet. So by sealing it, it's going to make it a little safer whenever you mount it, because if you mount it unsealed and you're putting it on your board and you get some glue on top of the finished piece and it's not been sealed, it might shift the paint around. And I'm going to give you an example of that in just a minute, but I wanted to make sure and say that, and I'll probably say it more than once, but there's no right or wrong way, but it's probably less stressful to paint it first, let it dry, seal it, and then mount it. That's a great question, Marla. So one side is smoother than the other. You'll know when you look at it. Let's see if I can hold it at the right angle. I don't think y'all can see the texture in that. So this is cold press paper. This is how I remember the difference, because forever I could not keep it straight. There's cold press and hot press watercolor paper. Cold press, think about when you're cold, you get chill bumps. So it's like this paper is bumpy. Hot press is smooth. It's like really smooth. And even with that, it's no right or wrong. I prefer, whenever I'm doing an illustration that's going to have pen work, I like the hot press, because, and I brought one out here to show y'all of some finished stuff so you can see the difference. So Marla, to answer your question, I would say, because we're going to be doing pen work on this, I would use the smooth side. That's what I would do. Okay, look, here it is. All right, let me show you the difference, because I know some of you will probably buy your own paper. All right, so this pad is cold press. It's crazy because, like, where is all my hot press paper? I don't know. I can't find it. This pad, it is cold press. And this particular brand is Arches. It's cold press. No, this is hot press. Okay, good. Good. It is super smooth, super smooth. So it's great for drawing on it. It's great for doing pen work, line work. Now let me put that there. This is the one that's cold press. And I really wish can you see the texture in that? So it doesn't really matter so much with pencil, but when you're trying to draw a straight line with a micron pen or an artist pit pen, this is bumpy. So use the smooth side, whichever one is the smoothest side. Does it say cold press or hot press? It does. It does. And it'll also tell you the weight. Like this is 140 pound, which is a typical weight. This one is, what is this one? This one is also 140 pound. The pack that we sent you is Canson. Let me show you. This is what it looks like. You can find this at Michael's. You can order it. I don't think Hobby Lobby has this. I can't remember, honestly. But this is what we sent to you. Okay. All right. So let me show you some examples of finished artwork on the different style papers. All right, let me turn this light on, see if this helps. All right, so this is the one we painted this month in Creative Heart Studio. I painted this on this pad of cold press. I can tell it's cold press because it's so bumpy. Can you see the texture? This is what it looks like painting on cold press. It's really pretty. Look at all the variation that you see in the color. It's beautiful. It's cold press is beautiful with watercolor. I did not have line work in this. This is all pencil and crayons and stuff like that, so it didn't really matter. And I wanted my ladies to see kind of how it looks with cold press. Now let me show you the difference. This is a project that I've been working on for a project. Let's just say it's a secret project. Carrie, most of them are all 140. Every now and then you'll see some of the cheaper brands that are like 90 pound, and that's okay. The thing that you'll see is that they're not as thick and absorbent, so you won't be able to use quite as much water. But you can absolutely use it. Just tape it down really good. And if it does warp like this one, look how bent up that is, y'all. But I can put some books or something on top of it and it'll flatten it back out. So this is one that I painted with hot press. So this means there's no bumps. It's super smooth. And look, there's no texture to it. Can you see? It's super smooth. And it's thick. It's 140 pounds. So I got a lot of good variation. Like look in the teal color. You can see all the variation to the color. So that when you see that, that means the paper's is doing its job. It's soaking it up. I painted this one with gouache. That one's with gouache. Okay, this is one that I did with cold press, and I don't have it finished. But look at that. See the texture in that? It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, the cold press. So no right or wrong way, but if you can understand what the paper does, it just helps you make a better decision on which one to choose because you'll know your purpose for it. Like this one again, I said there's no ink work on here. This is cold press. I love the variation that you can get with cold press. But on this other one, it's more of an illustration style. So I wanted the hot press. Yeah, it absolutely, Marla. So let me read what Marla said. If we want more texture and maybe a dimensional look on our art, then would it be better to use the bumpy side? Yes, absolutely. And so this is a good example of that because I use the same paper that y'all will have. And I was able to get the line work. I've already mounted this, so I can't really tell which side I put this on. I feel like it's probably the smoother side just because I can't really see the bumps. But this will give you an idea of the variations that you can get. Like right up in this area, you can see the shading. You can, let's see, it's so weird doing this backwards. Like you can see here where I added some purple in the corners to the pinks. So I wanted to go ahead and talk. See, I'm going to want to talk about all that. So when we do our painting, I want to be able to focus on the painting and not have to give you all the background for the paper. I love the texture on the cold press for backgrounds and gel prints. Yes. Yes. For those who've never used gel prints, jelly plate, those are a lot of fun. Okay, so let me move this. This is an example of acrylic painted on watercolor paper. Isn't that cool? So this is another thing we did this month in Creative Hearts. We are learning about color. Every month is a different color. So we did sage green. There's lots of layers of acrylic paint on here. And then when it dried, I sealed it and look at the it looks like leather. It's so fascinating, isn't it? So fascinating. Okay, so watercolor paper is very versatile, and you can use it for watercolor paint, but you can use it for acrylic paint. You can use it really for anything, I think. Okay, so I told you about the paper. I agree. And you know what, Laura Lee, that was my Meemaw's favorite song. So anytime we have a project and I run across that hymn, I like to use that in honor of my Meemaw. Okay, so hang on before I put that back. All right, so before we get off of the paper, one more tip that is super important. Okay, so there's a local man that we buy these wood pieces from. I think he cuts these by hand. So they're each one unique. So I'm telling you that because when you are ready to mount your paper on top of your house or your frame, your wood piece, be sure to trace it and just allow a little bit extra. Um, well, all right, let me take that back. Okay, so you're going to trace the design. You're going to trace the outside of your, what am I trying to say? You're going to trace the wood piece to get the shape. Okay. Then this is the process for those who like to know what we're doing. We're going to trace the shape onto our paper. Then I'm going to show you how to draw the window, and I'll do that on Wednesday so that we can dive deep into that on Wednesday. We'll just focus on supplies today. But please don't let me forget to tell you this. When it's time to mount this onto your board, I found that it was much easier to use an X-Acto knife and just cut it, like mount it and then cut it. But simply because some of you may be better at cutting than I am, but y'all, I can't cut a straight line to save my life, even with a ruler. So I have found that I'm doing better by cutting it once it's mounted. So then, okay, any questions about that? Because I want to talk about paintbrushes. Let me get a sip of drink. Okay, so in the supply list, we talked about or recommended a couple of different paintbrushes. And I just want to show you why. I have an entire little course about brushes and brush strokes is what it's called, simply because whenever I was learning to paint, I would just buy the cheapest thing I could find. And then I started buying some painting books. This was before the internet. And started using the books, the paint brushes they recommended. And I was flabbergasted the difference the paintbrush makes. So I want to share that with you. What time on Wednesday will be noon Central Time, Brenda? Noon Central. And I forgot to, y'all give me just a second. Let me add this camera because I do want to show you. I want to talk about the paintbrushes. All right, let me get this added. And you really don't have to spend a lot of money on paintbrushes, but if you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for, then you could actually save money on paintbrushes, because if you pay just a little bitty bit more, the brush is going to last longer. You're going to get better results. So all right, now here's what I want to show you. What I recommended in the supply list was an angle brush. Can y'all see that? Let me put some white under it so you can see it better. Let's do this. See that angle brush? The reason I like this brush is because getting in these little points right here, all you have to do is line it up like this. Can you see that angle? And just, whoops, just pull down and like that, and it fills in that spot. So, I just think it's so much easier. This brush is versatile. That's the word I'm trying to say. Is it Wednesday the 11th? Karen, is that this coming Wednesday? I think it is. Y'all hang on because I don't want to tell you wrong. So let's see. Yes, Wednesday the 11th. And if you can't make it live, it's okay. We'll have the replay for you. Yeah, Wednesday the 11th. So another brush that you could use is, let me sort these, get these organized. So these, look at the difference. This one is a Simply Simons or Simmons. I bet it's Simmons. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but I bet it's Simmons. This is a good brush. It's a good quality brush. It's not the highest grade brush, but it's a good brush. And see that sharp angle? You're going to get some really good use out of this. Or I'm going to lay it. Now I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see the angle. I'm holding it. You'll get a lot of use out of this. All right. You could, let me get this one. So this one is, I keep calling it an angle. They call it a sword, S-W-O-R-D, sword. This one that I showed you is Royal Langnickel. And what do they call theirs? It's kind of frustrating because so think of it like this. Paintbrushes are a lot like women's clothing. You might wear a 10 in one brand or a 14 in a different brand. It's just, and paintbrushes are similar to that. But see the angle on the one on the left? I really like that angle. Okay. This is another one. This is the same brand, Simply Simmons. And that's the sword brush. This is a half inch. This one is a 1/4 inch. So with the bigger one, I could, and this is the one I used. So see, I can put it in that little corner and draw it straight down. I can lay it on the side and look, I can do like this, lay it on the side, and it just covers a good amount of space. If I wanted to get a small section right here, I could still do it with the tip of that brush. I can still get in a tiny little spot with the tip. So that's why this brush is so versatile. You can, well, hang on. Hold on. Let's just do this. All right, let's just do this. Because if you're like me, you're a visual learner, and it's going to help you to see it in action. So I'm just going to wet my brush, get some water on it, and I'm just going to get some of this paint here on my brush. I'm going to put it right here to kind of work it into my brush and watch what happens. So this is what we can do with this brush, and I'm going to quit calling it an angle since that's not what they call it. They call it a sword. So watch. Look at that line. Okay. So watch what happens when I do it like this. All right. And then I can also hold it like this and get a thinner line. So it's all in how you hold it. Now let's look at this guy. This is the one that did not have the sharp point. Do you ever advise cutting your own brush angle? Sandy, I've never tried that. Have you ever? I bet you have, because you are a smart cookie. Have you ever tried it, Sandy? This one is, I believe this one is the one that's going to be called the angle. But look, I can still get that straight line. I can still get this. So what's different in this one and my big one is just the width so far. And then if I turn it, and the other difference, can you see it? See that point right there? That's off that brush. This one is a more subtle point. Does that help to kind of see that? That's interesting. I've never tried that, Sandy. Did you have good results with it? All right, for leaves, these brushes are awesome because we can do this. Then we can come back and do this little shape, like that, and just fill it in. And there we have a little leaf pattern. We could come right here, do another one like this. And I'll show you with the other brush what it does. Just a simple leaf, and the brush did the work. And that's the part that I would love for you to see from this, is that when you have, I'm hesitant to say the right brush, but when you have a brush like this and you understand what it can do so much of the work for you, just by how you hold the brush. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. So the big thing with this, the difference is the point and just the shape of the leaf. All right, so I'm going to do that line again. Do it again. And I'm just pushing down, putting some pressure down, and doing my little leaf. Okay, so that's the sword and the angle brush. Okay. Now, another brush that you could use is, where did I put it? You could use a filbert, and filberts are my favorite brushes, really and truly. Okay, let me sort them. This is a dagger. Look at here. So we're getting brushes 101 today. So this is the sword with the sharp point and the sharp angle. This one is the, pretty sure they're going to call this one the angle brush. Similar, but not as sharp. This one is called the dagger. And look at it. It's almost like half of a filbert brush. See, this is a filbert. Watch what we can do with the dagger. And we're not going to stab anybody with it. All right, let me move this down. So I want to do a fair comparison. So we can get the line. We can get the full. And then just doing a little, the upper part of the tip, we can make it thinner. So see, it's very similar. Where it comes in and shows a difference is with the leaves. So watch this. Same, trying to stay with the same. You actually get a more leaf-like pattern shape with the this one, the sword. I mean the dagger, sorry. I'm getting my names mixed up. I do that with my children too. I call them the wrong name. Do y'all do that? Do you call your children by the wrong name? Okay. And then you just finally look at them. You know who I'm talking to. To me, this, I'm so glad I forgot I had this one out. I'm so glad I showed this one to you, because look how easy it was to get that leaf shape just by how I held my brush. So, all right, so those are the three that are kind of angled. I thought I had a flat brush over here, but all right, I'm going to keep moving. All right, this is a filbert or an oval wash. So you're going to see them shaped like this. Look at this. And you can do the same thing with acrylic paint. This is not limited to watercolor. I wanted you to see all of these because you might have some of these in your stash and you might not even need to buy a brush. That's my whole point in doing this. Okay, so there's my straight one. There's the full wide stripe. And then here's a partial width. And with this one, we can do the same thing. We can get the leaf shape just like with the others. Okay. I'm kind of frustrated with myself that I didn't bring my filbert. I thought I had it. There's a filbert. Okay, this is a filbert. I had it buried. So hang on, let me show you the filberts. The reason I love these is because I like it to Josephine, do you have one? Do you have a dagger brush? This one is a Master's Touch, but I'm pretty sure the Simply Simmons has them. I know other brands have them. Princeton brush, Princeton brand brushes are good brushes. They are a next. See how they've got numbers on them? Like this is a level 2. I think I don't remember, but I think that Michael's has the Simply Simmons in the level 1, but they're still better. Yeah, Princeton. So the Princeton brushes, this one is called a rake. Yeah, Filbert. No, they called it something different. Filbert Grainer. Look at the petal, the hairs on it. It's really thin in spots, so you can get really good. Look, isn't that so cool? Who knew that a brush could do stuff like that? Okay, so stay focused, Pam. All right, so this one is a number 10 filbert. So whenever I'm painting flowers, I love filbert. What probably help if I get it in the screen so you could see it. I don't think we've used this color yet, y'all. It's called Jadeite Genuine. It's a beautiful color. It's got all kinds of pigmentation in it. All right, so I'm going to do like this. And look how easy that was to do a leaf with the filbert. See that? So you could, as long as you can get a straight line with this, you could use this in your window. So you've got options. That's my whole thing that I wanted y'all to see is that you don't have to have the angle or the sword to be able to do this. You could even do it with something like a round brush. This is another Princeton brush. You could do it with this because you can get that line. But just keep in mind, the more narrow the brush is, the tips, you're going to be able to get in tiny spaces and corners, but it will take more strokes to fill in those big areas. So like when you're painting this part, it's going to take more strokes when you're using this type of brush, but this type of brush is going to paint on that. That's okay. It's going to really be great in the corners and along the line work. So, is that helpful, y'all? Let's see. I could picture you doing that, Sandy. Sandy had a boy and a girl, and she did that. Let's see. Any questions? Michael's has the dagger. Simply So Dawn likes the Simply Simmons and the Princeton brushes. I think they're great brushes, and they don't cost a lot. I guess that's the point that I wanted to get across, is that you don't have to spend a ton of money, but if and you can watch for 'em to go on sale, but also watch for their coupons. Michael's has great coupons, but it's so worth it, in my opinion, to get a better brush, and it's gonna last longer, and you're gonna have a less frustrating experience. Oh, Andrea, please say a prayer for me. I had back surgery on Wednesday. Now they're talking about sending me to a rehabilitation hospital maybe Monday. Oh, bless you. Lord, help our sweet sister Andrea, and I just pray that you would ease her pain and you would relieve the discomfort and replace it with comfort and healing and peace as she waits for the healing, and that you would give her medical team supernatural wisdom in how to help her most with this healing process. Well, just know we love you, Andrea, and praying for you. Karen's got you covered too. That's right, Gwen. Gwen had a great tip. The rake brush, which is this one right here, y'all, is great for animal hair. Yes. Okay, I'm glad you asked that, Bobby. I try really hard to keep my brushes separate, and here's why. I have used one of my acrylic brushes. I mean, one of the main one I'm trying to protect is my watercolor brush, because I know that I only use my Princeton brushes for watercolor, because I know myself. I've been knowing me long enough to know that I don't always do a good job cleaning out the acrylic paint out of my brushes, and I know there's ways to do that, but it just is one less thing I have to think about. If I tell myself I only use my Princeton brushes for watercolor, and if I accidentally pick one of these up and I head toward my acrylic paint, it's like, "Stop and go get a different brush." I just have found that it just helps protect the brush. For me, anyway. That's my little rule that I have for myself. Okay, anybody have any other questions about supplies, the brushes, the paint? If you ordered the kit, we've included the paint dots, and it should be enough to finish this project. It's a sampler, so if you use a lot of paint, then it may not last as long. But just letting you know that you may not be able to get 2 projects out of it, but you should be able to get this project. If you wanted to use a different brand watercolor paint, that's fine. That's fine. That's what I try and do too, Andrea. It just is, you really want those lines with the watercolor, like, this is my little makeshift palette. We were traveling somewhere, and this is way before I started doing classes, and see, I was using paint dots for a long time. Um, I think that y'all will like the paints that we put in there, and they're all Daniel Smith. Anybody wanna share some of your favorite brands of watercolor paint? We've got we've got, looks like 6 minutes or 5 minutes. Um, I love the Daniel Smith. What's the other one? Winsor Newton is good. Um, Grumbacher is a more student grade, but, they don't cost as much, but there are some pretty colors in it. But there's just something about the Daniel Smiths have granulated. I don't know how they do it. Oh, this is dry, so let me show you. I forgot to cover this with y'all, but one thing that you're gonna wanna have is a cup for your clean water, and sometimes I'll get 2 cups, so I don't have to get up and get another one. Um, a saucer, and I like to use white because I like to be able to see how diluted it is and what that color is gonna look like. Look at that. That is that jadeite genuine. Isn't that gorgeous? The pigments in that. And this one is, I think it's Perylene genuine. It's gorgeous too. Okay, let's see what everybody's saying. Good, good, Bobby. I've got that. So let's talk about that. I don't know if all paint companies do this, but Daniel Smith has, I think there's 2 options. They sell paint dots of all their colors. And I purchased one several years ago, and it's just, it helps you see what that color is gonna look like when it's wet and when it dries. So that's a good way to test out some colors also. Andrea said white nights. I've never heard of that. White nights. Cindy has a 24 set from, oh, yes. Is it, okay, hang on. I brought a lot of stuff out here to show y'all because I get excited about this. Is this the one, Cindy, that you have? Let's see. I've never heard of that one either, Susan. You know what? That's not the brand mine is. Mine's Kuretake. I know which one you're talking about because the one you're talking about is like pinks and purples. I've been seeing the ad for that. Esther keeps her brushes separate in different looking containers. Kuretake. I love they've got a few different ones. I love the Kuretake. I also love this one. This is they're opaque colors also, like the Kuretake. Angora by Talons, I think it Royal Talons. These are some of my favorite colors. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, I got to get that because I love these colors. Okay. Looks like we've got some good examples. Susan, if you get a chance, post a picture of yours. I want to see what, I don't think I've seen that one. Or if I saw it, I didn't know what it was. You can also get sticks, watercolor sticks. They don't have all the colors in the sticks, but this is a crayon holder. And this is great for travel. Like when we're going out of town, I'll take this with me to paint. And I put those little paper strips in there so I can see what that color looks like. They're super, super vibrant. Like it would last a very long time. Hey, MK, I didn't know you were here. Let's see, I put colored vinyl tape on the ends of my water. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Looks like Cindy posted hers. Good. I love talking about watercolor paint. Okay. Do y'all feel a little bit more prepared now for, and Andrea, I would love to see what yours is, the White Nights. I would love to see what that is. Okay. Do y'all feel a little bit more prepared for it? So Wednesday, so let's recap for myself. Tuesday of next week, we have lettering at lunch, and we will continue working through our journal. Follow him to the cross. We'll continue to do that. That's on Tuesday at noon. And then Wednesday of next week at noon, we will switch back to the window, and I'll show y'all how I designed my window and how I did it, and we'll get it prepped so that when we have Jingle and Mingle, you'll already have yours ready. Good, Patty. And the good thing about watercolor paint is that you can ease into it. You don't have to have a lot of colors. You could get a set, if you wanted to just get a set. I always suggest going with your favorite colors because you're going to use them. I have so much stuff, so paints and things that I got for a class that I wished I had realized I don't really like that color. I could have substituted with something different. So I just want to hear you hear me say, just get what you like. These are the colors that I love. I love these colors. But you can't go wrong that way. All right. Good. I have a few. Yeah, y'all feel free to post what you have in the comments and let everybody see, because we'll have other people come back and watch the replay. But just show which ones that you like, because someone watching may not like these colors. I do know Kuretake has other color palettes in their brand, and they have big sets too. But I just went with this set, and it's been great. All right, ladies, thank y'all so much for being here. I'm super excited for us to do this project together. I think you're going to love it. I really do. And yep, so we'll be back next week. If you want to do the text, where's my note? Hang on. You can get text reminders when we're going live. If you want to do that, you can sign up for that. Gail has the 48 Kuretake. Are your colors similar to mine? I know you would have extra colors. I think this is just, I don't know how many's in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is just 24. This is 24. Okay, ladies. Y'all go have a fantastic weekend. Hope y'all have wonderful weather. What is the member discount code? Let's put that in. You may be in the, I'll put it in the CHS group, Josephine. I'll put it in there. Yes, if you're a member in Creative Heart Studio, anytime you buy supplies from us, you can get a discount if you use the code. You have to use the code to get the discount, or it won't know to do that. Thank you. He's been moved to rehab hospital, and he seems to be doing better. Yeah. Thank y'all for the prayers. All right, y'all go have a good weekend. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to us having a fun and full week next week, Lord willing. All righty, bye-bye.